right, folks, welcome to What's Your Story, the last one of the year. And I really wanted to kind of recap and rethink and evaluate things a little bit, kind of tug at the thread of What's Your Story, where it's been, where it's going, kind of some takeaways, life lessons. And I thought, let me bring in the very first guest. Let me bring in someone that'll push back, give me some difficult questions, and challenge me as well. So that's what I've done. So with me, Stone Cold Loki, my brother. Thanks for doing this with me, man.
Heck yeah, we both got our Christmas thing going here. We got Loki in the Christmas hat. Pops is wearing his Christmas coat, his Christmas gear, and it's
Yeah.
festive. It's festive.
It is. It is. So yeah, we're gonna knock this out, and it'll be the last What's Your Story of the year. It's been episode 44, so it was a lot, and it was a lot to take in, and it was a lot to think about. I reminisce a lot about what I should take away from this year and that kind of thing. But I wanted to start with you because you were my first guest, man. You were the one that was very encouraging me about doing this and said, "Yeah, I'll record one with you. Let's do this. Let's rock and roll." So I appreciate that very much.
You are very welcome. I like these. I like these little one-on-ones. I really do. You can't tell that from my channel at all, can you? It's
Yeah, it's
fun.
not like it's the brand.
I know it's a great idea. It's a great idea, and you've done some real good. Done some real good one-on-ones with people. So thank you for having me back.
Yeah, it's been you were always encouraging me. You did right out of the gate with that first episode too. We're talking about drama because back then too there was a lot of things that were how YouTube is. It's like a roller coaster ride of highs and lows with dramas. And there's never zero, but it was like through some of that kind of stuff. And I don't really have my toe in it very much at all. But the one thing you were like, whatever you decide to do, just think about what you want to take out of it and what you want to give, and you think about, those kind of elements. And that's what I've done with this, is trying to figure out a way to, I mean, selfishly, I just enjoy chatting with people and learning from you. I pick your brain, learn from you, learn from folks that were on. And that's kind of where I think most of my first year doing this, What's Your Story channels, What's Your Story interviews were. It was like understanding the YouTube journey, the process, how people's journeys, those kinds of things. Has it been an eye opener process for you to do that, to talk with so many people from that perspective?
It's always changing, um,
Mm.
especially when you deal with so many people. Because everybody's got their. One of the things you have to remember is everybody's got their own thing going on. You might get to a point where you're like, I got this. I'm dealing with this. I'm dealing with this person over here. I'm dealing. A lot of people are too. It's not
Mm.
just you,
Right.
and sometimes we have to have some understanding about that. And there are times where someone is intentionally stirring the pot and causing crap behind the scenes, and that's what I don't want anything to do with. I really don't. I don't need that in my life. I don't need it on my channel. If you want to, if someone wants to do like, oh well, we're going to have a little sub click where we sit here and we talk crap about everybody or blah blah blah. I don't want anything to do with that. Do not include me in that. I don't want to spend an hour talking after a stream about drama about people. I don't want to deal with any of that. Positive energy, positive discussion. Can we rail on stuff? Sure, we can. We can get upset. Some people are upset Godzilla's pink now. Some people are praising the new movie from Toho.
Yeah.
That's always going to happen. But what we really don't need is the infighting behind the scenes where someone's intentionally just trying to stir the pot and start crap so they can get their jollies off, or so they can get more attention, or so they can get what they want out of you instead of contributing to something and creating something.
Yeah, I tried to bring in folks. I mean, again, back to the, I don't want to say selfish, but it was like, what do I want to learn more about? Who do I want to learn more about? Those kinds of things. I did focus on a lot of folks that had gone through like YouTube struggles, right? So I had a lot, Mr. Grant Gregory and Zax and Scott from Sporking, Justin Lost, folks like that who had really gone through tumultuous times and things like that. Any words of advice from what you've garnered over the last year that you'd like to kind of throw on that heap of like dealing with the YouTube part of it?
For every single person that is going through something with YouTube, there's always going to be someone heckling in the background
Mm.
about what that person's going through while they're crying about what they are going through. You're always going to have someone that does that. I'm not saying Zax or anybody you just said does that, um, but you talk about, like, let's take Zax's situation, dealing with being demonetized, dealing with YouTube, messing with him, trying to get beyond that. They didn't lay out any regulations when they came out with shorts. So people were just like boom, 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 short, 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 coming out with shorts. YouTube wasn't saying anything, and then suddenly YouTube was like, "Well, this goes against this policy, so your channel's dead."
Yeah.
That, how do you deal with that? How do you come back from that? And Zax he has come back from that. He has fought and he has worked his butt off and he's come back from that. That should be a success story,
Mm-hmm.
not a it's totally unfair that Zach's got this when I'm still not this or anything like that. The negativity is the worst part of doing all of this. And there's always going to be somebody that thinks you don't deserve it. It's not fair. I should be above you. Blah 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 blah. Oh, you don't listen to me, so you suck, or any of that garbage. The best thing you can do is cut that out and focus on what you're doing. That's exactly what Zax did. He cut out all the drama. He looked at what he did. He fixed it, and pray they don't do this again to any one of us, because
Yeah.
it can at any point in time. They could go, you know what, Pops, we don't like that you said butthole on a stream. Now we're demonetizing any channel that's ever said the word butthole.
It's
We
true.
don't know when that's going to happen, and we don't have a rule book that explains it, and nobody does. Not Rumble, not Odyssey, not YouTube, not Kick. Nobody has this. This is exactly the way it is, so you know what's going on, and that can change at any time. So we have to just be prepared for it. That's all we can do.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's similar to all of the terms of a service and agrees and things that you do in life as you're trying to navigate. You're trying to register a new software, you're trying to do whatever. And it's like you're agreeing to a whole bunch of terms, and you don't even always have time to read the mountain of legalese they try to put on a screen in front of you. And for someone like Scott, he was in that same boat with Zax, and it was like he just didn't know what to do. He's like, I don't know which video you're talking about. I don't even know what to do. And then it was like, then it just kept happening again, and it would happen again. It's like you're in this. I mean, just total mind screw job of messing with you. Like Justin was ready to go like full time with this, and like boom, the carpet was just pulled away, right? So, and I admit, some people will walk closer to the landmines than I do, and even you, but it's still not an easy thing to get through, that kind of thing. Do you find those stories not just engaging but almost inspiring?
They are, and I'll tell you why. It is the Zax. People like Zax don't say, "I'm being attacked. I'm a victim."
Mm,
They work through the problem and they do their very best to fix it and try and follow the rules as best they can. The hardest thing to deal with is when you see someone that does not care, that just blatantly does things they know they shouldn't be doing, and then cries and whines when they get in trouble for it. And it's like, well, you knew this was against policy, but you went and did it anyway. It could be posting content that's copyrighted. It could be posting content that was not released. Some guy just got in huge trouble for releasing a game trailer before it was. I am really sorry about that.
the hotline, trying to reach the Valhalla hotline.
So I'm gonna turn the ringer off. Some guy got. If you want to cut that out, you can.
It's fine.
Some guy just got in trouble for releasing a game trailer a day before it was supposed to. It's and then they cry and they say, I'm a victim. You never got that out of somebody like Zax, who's busting his butt and just trying to make a cut a little slice out for himself in YouTube. So all the props to that. No, it's very inspiring to see stuff like
Yeah, yeah. Um, I tried to have on a group of folks. because I still do a lot of writing on the side, things like that. So I brought in folks because obviously you're very close friends with Adega, but I also brought in like Copa and Polly, even Roman. I didn't even Roman had a book. It was interesting, and I don't know how you'd want to speak to this, but I find it interesting that they all have completely different stories of how they got to where they are to write the book or the project or how it manifested, how long they've been writing. Just writer journeys are so diverse and interesting. Like it's easy to say no two are alike, but I mean we're talking about every gambit you can think of is behind these stories.
No, no, you're absolutely right. A lot of these people never thought they'd have the opportunity to do what they're doing. One of the reasons why I love supporting Adega is that he came up with something completely original, completely fascinating. It's like that story starts and you spend about 2 minutes wondering where this is going, and then it goes full throttle and it doesn't stop.
Hmm.
The evolution
Hmm.
just hit the turbos and just kept going, and I couldn't put it down. I think I finished it in like 2 days. I couldn't put it down. And to see something like that from someone who never thought they would be able to put their words and thoughts and dreams to paper, that's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And I am blessed that I get to support that I get to promote that. Same thing with Paulie, same thing with Gary, same thing with the people that have been on the show that have been like, hey, can we come on and talk about this? That is so great because they're able to express their creativity and put something out there and it's successful.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's been an honor to be able to be a part of that journey in some way, shape, or form, for sure. Um, I have to be honest, and I don't know how you can support me in this, but I got to be honest. It's been weird, and I mean, it's been received well. I'm not trying to cry of trying to squeeze in something like this with the other content I do. Obviously, we do talk hard together, but I do a lot of just like reviews of videos. I do a lot of comic book talk, that kind of thing. But I wanted to do something like an interview type setting of some kind, and I was always hesitant. Like this sat on the shelf because first off, it's its own channel. And then it was just kind of put on the shelf, and I was like, I had to take my own advice that I'd given Ryan, our buddy Ryan, about one channel. Like, at least try to get one channel going before you start trying to divide your time. But it has been pretty well received. Should that have surprised me or not? I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Because it seems,
Can
yeah.
it can I got told not to do another channel, and I went in secret and I created something behind the scenes that only I knew about. And it is another channel on YouTube. I don't talk about it. I don't reference it. I don't promote it. I've got about 15,000 subscribers now, but I don't make anything on that channel. It is monetized, but I don't do live streams. I only put out videos. I think the most successful video I've had was a little over 100,000 views. It's not something that it's not like it's not in no way, shape, or form like Mornings of Mischief. It's something absolutely different, and it's another way to use that creativity and use that fandom that is something I am excited about.
Mhm.
That's just different, and it doesn't matter that it's like not on the level of Mornings of Mischief, because it's really weird to me that it's Mornings of Mischief is successful financially. It is. It keeps the lights on. It allows me to do some things. I can go to the comic book store. I can help out with bills. I can pay for my kids' dental work, stuff like that. This is a totally different channel that you would think, well, you've got 10 times the subscribers, so it should be 10 times as successful. It is a totally different animal. I don't do live streams. I'm never going to do live streams. Even some live stream like things that I've done, it's different and a different kind of audience.
Right.
So splitting your time can be great as long as you understand that this might be something that evolves and grows completely different than what you've already done. Don't expect the same thing. Don't expect the same results because it's going to be different.
Yeah, that's really good advice too. Because if you're just running it with just the YouTube ads, that's pennies on the dollar kind of thing. Uh, as far as like a return on investment, so it's difficult to know how to split your time with something like that, right? So
Yeah.
every time you're doing that, well, I'm probably not going to have any. There's no real financial benefit to doing this. I'm doing this because I enjoy doing it, right? There's
Yeah.
no other. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 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 This was kind of more like, am I messing up my algorithm and brand and those kinds of things and realities? I just went feet first and said I want to do it, and then we'll just kind of let the chips fall where they may. And yeah, I was telling my son about it. 44 episodes, and he's like, "That's amazing." I said, "That's like once a week." I'm like, "Yeah, pretty much." I mean, there's a few times where it doesn't work out. There's holidays and things like that. And obviously, at the end of the year like this, I've kind of scaled this part back a little bit just because of some time constraints with my real job, day job, and yeah. And but it's hard, man. Scheduling is hard when like you said, you do your standalone show where it's just you, or then maybe you and one other person. But to do like a regular invite type thing like this, it is. Yeah, I don't know. I can tell you sometimes I don't know how to. I want to throw my arms up, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
That is one of the reasons why I'm so grateful for Mornings of Mischief and what I'm able to pull off each week. That is probably the most grateful thing because there are people that are dedicated to being there. Zero,
Mm,
Zero Zeropium, my co-host on Monday, he does not get paid. He does this because he enjoys it and he wants to do it. He's never asked me for anything. He will never ask me for anything. I've sent him some stuff, but he doesn't ask me for anything.
right.
He doesn't ask me for a paycheck. He just does it because he loves to come on and talk. Mike's the same way. Um, Arwin and Dave Bob, same thing. I've got such a good group that's dedicated to trying to help me promote my vision for what a morning show should be. So, and I don't think it'll ever get out of hand to the point where I've got, 200, 300 people in there in the morning or thousands. I don't think that's ever going to happen. And I'm not looking for that to happen because the group that we get in there each and every morning is so great and so wonderful that I don't it's become its own entity in a
Mm,
way, and it would be stupid of me to try and force a change on that might negatively impact it. I would rather have 40 to 50 people coming in and talking to me about something great and having a good time than having 100 people where I've got 50 people that hate me and 50 people that like me. Because
mm.
that's just going to devolve everything into nonsense and stupidity. So I'd rather it be what it is than have any kind of big conflict while that's going on.
I feel very similar in the sense of not so much this, but definitely with Talk Hard as well. I don't mind it being a very small, manageable scene because it's always growing way after that because we're basically talking about something that's pretty timeless, right? There's not like an expiration date of something happening in the news. So I'd rather have something where I feel like we can interact with chat and it's a manageable positive and negative vibe in there. Like we don't have it's never out of control. And then over the course of time, from 50 views to 100 views to I don't even know what Ong Bak's up to now. It's definitely a couple thousand or several thousand by now. Because you just feel like you're putting that out there and it can be consumed when it needs to. I don't need some sort of like immediate gratification, if that's the best way to explain it.
I explained it this way. Mike asked me once, Mexican Iron Man, our good friend Mexican Iron Man asked me, he said, I don't understand what you're trying to do. And I said, Mike, think about it like this. if I'm a record store owner and I'm running my little record store and I'm making, oh, 1,000, let's just throw a number out, $1,000 a month at this record store. But it's enough to keep the lights on. It's enough to keep the stock where it is. It's enough to provide something. It is absolutely worth it. And I get to see these really nice people every day. And people come in. I might have, let's say I've got Pops working for me, right? Pops is working for me in the record store. And I pay you, but let's say that you're looking over in the newspaper and you see Target is hiring managers and they pay $5 more an hour. And Pops goes, you know what? I'm worth more than what Loki's given me, and I'm gonna go over to Target and I'm gonna get paid more. There is a whole giant set of problems working at Target. There might be one or two problems working at the little record store that Loki has.
Mhm.
I have no problem being that little niche store. I don't want to be a Target. And that's
Mhm.
that's where a lot of people get confused and where they almost trip over their own feet is they really believe I want to be this big chain store when they would be absolutely positively happy owning the record store, working at the record store where they see, cool people every day, and you've got your return customers. That's your guests, guys. That's your
Yeah.
chat. That's the people that grace you with their presence every single morning. These are the people come in and listen to you instead of a whole bunch of random people that would just as easily watch you burn at the stake and laugh at you as support you.
Yeah, and just the amount of, like, I mean, I think you really hit the nail on the head with the headache part, right? Because I mean, I think we both love, the G&G crowd and the neurotic crowd and Doomcock and these folks, but they're so massive now that comes with a lot of headache and drama, right? It's like a lot of foot on the gas to try to keep up with, hundreds of thousands of humans that you're interacting with regularly. Things like that. It's like, well, I think Pat, our friend Pat S, had made a comment about, like shows like yours, and I guess kind of what my channel is, at least according to Pat S. He called it like a boutique. You know what I mean? Pops is like the old comic shop that still talks about this. It's like that kind of thing. I'm like, that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted that because that's the best representation of me, for sure,
Well,
for sure.
there's going to be some people that in no way, shape, or form understand that. And they're like, oh, well, Pops is just out to be another one of the big channels, or Pops is just out for himself, or do you really believe he's that nice guy? Because in their head, they can't see it any other way. All they can
Mm.
see is, I want, I want to be G&G. I want to be Nerdrotics. I want to be on Friday Night Tights. And they don't think about what is going to make me happy. I've worked in so many different fields. I've been a truck driver. I was a prison guard. Um, I went to college. I worked as a chemical dependency counselor. I've worked at a casino. I've worked at a newspaper. I could go on. I worked. I cleaned pools in the summer when I was a teenager. I worked at restaurants. I've never been as happy and content with what I'm doing as what I'm doing now. I don't need to be at 100,000 subscribers tomorrow. Oh, but you take it, right? You take it. No, I wouldn't. If before I retired, which is going to be in like 6 years, if before I retired from YouTube, we had grown into a bigger channel, so be it. But I don't need to be there tomorrow. There's a lot that comes with that, a lot of learning and adapting you have to do. It's like, I want to be in the pool with the big fish, Pops. And then you jump in there and you get eaten by a shark. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't even. Yeah, I can't even fathom having to deal with these. I look at these chats and on channels or shows that are going on. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of people, and you're just like, I can't even. The folks are kind of lost in the. I know I have felt that way. I've felt lost in the shuffle of that,
Oh,
and that's why
yeah.
I've talked to different people. Like So like when I remember talking with Left Eye Ego, because I think he was only like he may have been around 100 subscribers then or something like that. He barely had started doing his own channel. Like now he does something with his spouse. He, those kinds of things. But it's like picking his brain of like what that was like takes me back to what it was like for me. You know what I mean? Because like I don't want to lose sight of that process because I think that the creativity is very pure. It's very honest, and I think that's at the crux. I think where you and I have bonded so much because we finally got a chance to break bread together. We realize we're really just like this, folks. I don't want to alarm you if you think that Loki or Pops is completely different in real life. We really are not any different than we are
No.
when we're like this. Is kind of how we chatted with each other. We were there face to face with our spouses. We're like pretty much just us talking.
Yep. Yep. And that's exactly, Pops walked up and I was like, wow, he's shorter than I thought he would be. No, I'm
I don't know. Maybe you thought I was 6'5". I don't know. No,
I thought you'd be bigger. No. But yeah, and we sat there and we had lunch and we talked exactly like we're talking now. So it's just like, what did you think about this? Oh, I thought about this. How did you feel about it? Oh, well, I looked at
yeah.
this and and then this happened. And I mean, that's just, yeah, we are who we are. There is no mask you have to worry about. And that's a big thing. There are people that wear masks in this business. There are
Help me
people that wear.
help me know how to deal with because if I as I roll on with what's your story and I may probably scale it back to maybe twice a month or something just like I said with that scheduling challenge because it's just difficult to manage that. What's the Loki advice to the ones that have their feelings hurt that they haven't been asked back? Because then you have to give a person who's going to be back for a second time, or they've never been invited, or whatever. And it's not usually that you're trying to pick someone in particular or whatever. It's just usually trying to let the planets align, or something comes to your mind, and that's what you're thinking about. And but I'm never going to be able to make everybody happy.
No,
So how do you got like an outline or some things I could try to make sure I try to put in my side pocket for those awkward conversations?
if someone gets butthurt, that's their problem.
Hmm.
You cannot read minds, and there is this old adage called "the show must go on." Right?
Hmm. That's true.
At one point, I had like 8 people on my Friday show. It was too much. I had too many people on there. It got simplified, and I told everybody, "Thank you for contributing, but I really need to simplify this. If you're not coming back, please don't get butthurt or take offense. I'm just trying to narrow it down to where we can have a conversation without everybody talking over each other or someone trying to interject all their shit into the show because it's a show about everybody and it's a show about the chat too. Every single show has just as much to do with the chat as it does them. And there's some people that do not understand that. That is something they have to learn on their own. You can't drag a horse to water. You can drag a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. They've
Right.
got to figure out that you can't make the show all about you. You can't, take. Hey, we're going to talk about Fantastic Four tonight. I'm going to sit here and talk about how miserable I was watching the Marvels. That is not the show topic. The show topic is the Fantastic Four. Whether the movie gets brought up tonight or not, I have no idea if that's going to happen. But we are going to talk about the original comic and the early years of the Fantastic Four. That's the point of the show. If
Mm-hmm.
someone can't do that and they continually show me that they can't handle that, probably not going to be invited back until they learn that the show topic is what we're here to talk about. And we're here to talk with the chat too. So if it's the chat's there and Pops, you're sitting there and you're like, oh well, Brandon over here says, and you go to say something, and I'm like, Pops, what did you think about blah blah blah? And every single time you try and talk about something that's going on with your audience, I interrupt you and override you on a show. you've got two options. You can be like, look, Loki, I love you, brother, but you gotta let me talk to my chat because they're a part of this too. Or you gotta go, sorry, bud, but we're gonna change some stuff up and pull some stuff up, and don't need you on for a while.
Yeah.
You've got to make that call. And if you've already talked to me about it, if you've already said something to me, and I'm not with the program because it's your show, then I honestly wouldn't blame you if you're like, hey, brother, I'm making some changes. This is what we're going to do. Um, Maybe we'll get you on again at some point, but for right now, take some time off, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. If I'm mad at you about that, you've already talked to me about it and asked me to deal with my shit that I'm doing. I didn't. You've got to make a call. And that
It's true.
call is what's the best for the people watching and what's best for the show. Show when the people watching come first.
Do you find a lot of pushback from folks that maybe you were interacted with a lot, let's say a year ago, 2 years ago, but you barely interact with now?
What do you mean? Like
So there's like I mean it's kind of a continuation of what we were just saying, but it's almost like uh, that drama. I don't know. I just try to keep all of it at arm's length, and I don't really have any room for it. And as I've looked back at the list of folks I had on, I feel so blessed that I was able to have a very no drama approach to everything. I didn't have any major issues, and I just thought about trying to continue to just flush out kind of like what I've learned from that, and make sure that I kind of keep the focus in that proper direction, and not allow for any of the noise to even be a
I
distraction.
get,
You
I get
know?
what you're saying. There
Yeah.
is a creator that blames me for their problems. Yes. Um, if they want to blame me and they want to talk crap, hell, I got a shirt. I've got
I
a
have that
shirt that
shirt.
says hashtag blame Loki
Should have
on it
worn that one. Would have
just
matched.
be,
It would have worked. Yeah, should have worn that
just for that occasion.
one.
They refuse to take responsibility for the things they've done. They refuse to accept the fact that they were asked to not act like they were acting and to do exactly the opposite of what I was just talking about. To stop making it about themselves and to interact with us and interact with the chat instead of going on and on about all the petty bullshit that was going on. I understand that. I can get to a thing, especially if you live on here. See, there are people that live on here, and then there's people like us that have a life away from here. Some people,
Yeah,
they're on here all day. They're constantly in front of the screen. They're constantly talking to somebody. They're constantly going on shows. They never get to detach from this world.
it's
So
true.
everything is about this world. Everything is about I have to be successful. I have to look successful. I can't have anything ever bad said about me, baddie bad. So they stop taking responsibility for the bullshit they pull. You've gotta hang on to your humility and your self reflection. You have to be able to look in the mirror and go, you know what? I screwed up. I made a mistake. I know another guy, he made a mistake. He left his show in the middle of the show because he got snarky with somebody. And they called me and they said, I did this and I shouldn't have. I said, well, then you already know the answer to what you're about to ask me. You shouldn't have. I said, next time, instead of getting pissed, instead of getting upset, take a breath, put the BRB in chat and your little private chat up there, step away, regroup, come back on. Do not just leave a live stream. And they weren't ever invited back. And they were told, we don't need you. Why? Because you abandoned, because you got butt hurt. You did admit you did. You got butt hurt, and you left a live stream because you got butt hurt. You just left.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I have no patience for that. I would never do that. I will admit that I have done appearances, if you will, and I don't think I want to go back to some of those type shows and situations and settings and things like that. But it's a case by case basis kind of thing. Yeah, yeah, that's the best way to kind of broach that conversation, and because I don't want to put anybody on blast, and I'm not like that. You know me personally. I'm just not. I just want to. I got enough stress in the real world. I don't. Even, I don't want to have all this stressful. I don't want to. Because I'll never forget your reaction. I don't know if you've ever told this. I don't know if this was behind the scenes or not because you and I interact that way. And I made a comment and I had said it as of. I think you're like, what is Pops' channel? Like, what is this going to be? Like, we knew we were doing Talk Hard, but you were like, well, what else? Maybe it was like the mic conversation in reverse a little bit. And I said, the idea is to be able to do this and then have videos that basically I have something that's there every single day, all 7 days a week. And you were like, whoa, 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 whoa. You were like, full stop. Hold on. What do you mean? And you were like, I didn't even get to finish my thought. And you were already like, no, you cannot do 7 days a week. You cannot. And I was like, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. Because yeah,
Gotta have time to detach.
yeah, you know I do. I don't. That's people think that maybe I'm on here way more than I am, but it's like such a condensed time for me that I got to be honest. I think it was this last weekend. I don't even think I opened the laptop. I think everything I did was on my phone. What little bit of stuff I did was on my phone. I don't think I even took the laptop out of the bag this last weekend. We had so much stuff going on.
Yeah.
Just
I
it's just
I
not.
got told I would burn out in less than a year doing the morning show Monday through Friday. I was told
Hmm.
under no circumstances was I to do that because I'd burn myself out. And this was from a creator that was very established, the person that was like, go forth and create content, Loki. Um, that I'd never be able to do it. And we're 4 years in, and I'm still doing it. That is enough. The fact that I do the night shows, that is because I want to do the night shows. I want to do a show about comics. I love getting to hang out with Klobby and Classics and 24 and whatever guest we have on. I love getting to do the work with Adega. That is so very important to me to do a show with Adega. I don't care who shows up, as long as me and Adega get a chance to talk and spend 45 minutes to an hour talking about a story or talking about mythology or whatever it is we're doing. I love getting the opportunity to do that with them on a weekly basis. I don't have to do talk hard. I love getting to hang out with you. I love getting to hang out with Ironcaster. Ironcaster is such a great up and coming creator. He's going to be big. And he might be like, look, but he's gonna be big. He's young. He's a very wonderful person to work with and be around. He's a nice person. I think he's
So
gonna be really
knowledgeable.
big and he's gonna go somewhere. I'm very knowledgeable.
He's just consuming. I mean, like it's such a pleasure for us to be able to find things he's never seen. It's like you're just adding
Yeah,
to you're adding it to a database, to like a sponge, because he's able to recall and reference things, and you're like, all we're doing is just adding to that database. Someone who's years behind us. It's thrilling. I feel the same way about Ryan. We first met Ryan. It's like, gosh, he's 20 something. Oh my gosh, this kid. He has no idea how far ahead of the curve he is. And I don't think he still does. I still think Ryan is very oblivious. And that's part of the beauty is the naivete of certain creators.
yeah,
That it's, yeah, yeah.
yeah. No, and it's a lot better than seeing someone with their head up their own butt that thinks that being first and being the most popular and making the most money is all that's important.
Hmm.
So I love what I get to do. The Friday show, bringing back the Friday show was really hard. It was. I sat down and I talked to Eris. I talked to Mike. I talked to Snow, and it took them convincing me to continue to do it because everyone loved it, and I kept getting messages saying, "When are you going to bring the Friday show back? Can we please get back to the Friday show?" And Mike can't do it. Mike, and it's not that Mike doesn't have the time; it's that Mike is refocusing parts of his life to spend more time with his son. We joke about him jumping out of windows. We joke about him dating the MILFs. We joke about all these different things. But the reality is, he gets to spend more time with his kid. And more, he's going to be disappearing from bigger channels so he can spend more time with his boy. I love that. I respect that. Whatever he needs. He said, sometimes I might be able to jump on Tuesday mornings after this all goes down and starts. I might be able to 2 in the morning, but I'm probably going to be taking the kiddo to school. And I'm like, dude, you're being a dad. That's more important than anything. That is more important than anything. So go be a dad.
Yeah, you've always been very supportive of that. You write your own rules, and I kind of went into this, I think, with a lot of preconceptions, not misconceptions, preconceptions about what things should be or how they should operate. And you were like, no, you're on your own freaking boss, man. Just tell them to go. You say it in your Loki version of go pound sand.
Yep.
But yeah, that was. I'm like, oh, okay, you're right. Yeah, I don't need a boss. Why would I have a boss? Why would I care? And I know I don't. I just sometimes you need to have somebody say that. So. Well, brother, we've talked for 40 minutes, man. We should definitely probably wrap and think about. I was trying to think of anything or anyone I should really. I mean, I just want to say thanks to all the people that were able to give us time. I'm still blown away at folks that are able to do this with me and other shows and streams and things like that. It's been crazy learning from different folks, meeting different folks, tugging at the thread of their stories, things like that. It was definitely a fun year for that, for sure. I look forward to figuring out how to navigate through that again, and we'll have the same conversation sometime next year, I think.
But yeah, I'm down for that. I'll be back.
Yeah, folks, thanks so much. What a crazy year! 44 episodes, counting this one. Feel very blessed that you guys come and hang out with me and make your comments and chat and stuff like that. It's been awesome. Thanks to someone like Loki, who's not only been part of this, but he's been like a brother and a mentor and somebody I enjoy partnering with on a regular basis of just hanging out and doing this kind of nerdy stuff. Such a great world we live in, and we can even do this kind of stuff. So, but folks, listen, have a great rest of your year. Merry Christmas. Be blessed. All those kinds of things. Again, thanks again to Loki and all of you out there. Take care, everybody. I am Pops.
Merry Christmas, everybody.